Welcome to another episode of the Brand X podcast. I am one of your hosts, John. Alongside me, Deuce.
Como esta, bitches?
And the Jimmy is back.
Hello, all.
And we have all new equipment. I mean, everything is new. We have new mics. We have new preamps. We have a new mixer. We have a new recorder. I mean, this is unbelievable.
Did you push record as Jimmy?
Oh, I pushed record.
Okay.
It's a rolling. So, anyhow, big week this week. We have Brand X beer steins, 22-ounce white beer steins with the Brand X logo, both sides. What do you think? Deuce bought two. Did you buy two?
Yeah.
That's amazing. How are they? Are they?
Yeah, well, they just came in the mail today, and I just unpacked it, threw it in the cooler, and here I am with it, with 22-karat gold.
Ooh.
Gold leaf. Yeah, and it's on both sides. That way you're not advertising to yourself.
That's true.
Depending on what hand you hold out of.
That is true.
So, and it's ceramic. It's not glass. It's a ceramic, so it'll keep the beer cold.
Yeah,
so.
Than normal.
Yeah, nice, healthy size, nice heft to it.
That's great.
So you can...
I got to tell you, it's funny. We are at wehavemerch.com. There's a link in the show notes for this. And, we were just talking about it on the show, and I sent a tweet out. And like 15 minutes later, it was up on the site. I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah.
As far as getting stuff up and doing it right away. Matter of fact, I look now and I see that the Mole Man has a beer stein, and he has two. Oh, look at him. He has two. And then there's show beer coasters.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any show beer coasters. We're going to have to get show beer coasters.
Well, our logo would lend itself nicely to that.
It certainly would.
Nice and round.
He also has now put out a red shirt for you.
I got the red shirt and the black shirt. I got them
from We Are Merch.
Yeah, I ordered two. I ordered two steins and I ordered two shirts.
Look at you!
But the shirts had to be bequeathed to Diane because they're. I ordered mediums, which is generally what I wear, but these were a little snug.
Okay,
mediums.
So I don't do the schmediums. So they were passed on to Diane, and I will reorder two larges.
Okay, all right.
And I did that because you never know, because I'm kind of like an in between.
Right.
Size, it depends on the manufacturer. And I said, well, let me get the mediums first, because then if I can always bequeath them.
Well, Johnny and I are big guys and have been all our lives. We never wore mediums. We skipped right over mediums.
Since kindergarten.
Yeah, I think I went from like 3T to like large, male large size, to be quite honest with you. I sent two coffee mugs over to Lisa and Sam. Mm-hmm. From I Shake My Head with Lisa and Sam. It's their 1 year anniversary this year. They've been 1 year podcasting out of the car.
Right.
So I thought that's pretty good.
Should have sent them a new car with the Brand X logo on it.
Could you imagine?
It's like the Batmobile.
You get a new car. Oh. It's like, I got a new car. Well, it's got a Brand X logo on it.
It's got the Brand X brand on
both
doors.
Yeah. It's terrible. Look, we used to have like the tape, duct tape and cardboard over it. So, anyhow, congratulations to them. I sent them
congrats.
I sent a segment or something to them. Like they asked for audio, I sent it to them. So I'm excited because they put their show out today. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to hear what what else they did. I like the show. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
And God. And then
clear your throat a few more times.
Let me clear my throat.
What am I supposed to do? I can't do anything about it. What am I going to do? Even if I mute it, it's a whole thing with this mixer.
It all comes out in editing.
It all comes out in editing.
What am I supposed to do, Bukes?
Yeah, what am I supposed to do? I got to clear. Let me clear my throat. God damn. Anyhow. So, crazy week for me. Jessica Kupperman, who is part of the She Podcast, we used to do a podcast together called Off in the Weeds. And I produce, record, and basically edit a show with her and her friend Melissa called Brilliant Observations. So Jessica's taking a stand-up comedy course. Mm-hmm. And Wednesday she had to do open mic night.
Now, where was this at? Yeah.
This was in downtown Claymont, Delaware, at the 13 Bar.
Okay.
Because it's on Route 13. On Route 13.
There we go.
There we go, the name. And it was probably the size of this room here, to be honest with you. It was
big venue.
Double the size, but it was just a bar. And in the corner, they had a microphone. So I talked to Jessica on Monday. And she's like, I'm going to go do this. And I said, send me. I'll go. I'll go watch. I'll go cheer. I'll go laugh. So, because I haven't been to an open mic in like 30 years. Just haven't been. So we go, and I get there, and Melissa's there from Brilliant Observations. And there's like 4 people in her class that are there. And then they have these other guys, stand-up guys that are there doing stuff. So me and Jessica were kind of like working on a routine. She would tell me the jokes, and we would just kind of, I mean, they were her jokes and all, but we would just kind of like riff back and forth and do punchlines and all, and punch up the jokes. It was a lot of fun. I like writing with her. It's fun. So we go, and I sit down, and I'm looking at everybody there, and of course I order my usual, the double Jack Daniel and Coke, and they start to have like headliners. They have professional comedians, whatever that is, and then they have a lot of, after that it's open mic night. I got to tell you, if they're professional comedians, I was really shocked. Like, they were horrible. Some of them was like when a joke like bombs, when you get that silence, it was puckering my asshole. It was so bad.
Well, to be a professional, all you have to do is get paid by somebody, and then you're a pro, right? It's like any business.
I guess.
Like if you're in a band or a singer.
They weren't good. So I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, I don't even need material, and I could be better than this. And so they're like, come on, sign up. And I had no intentions of signing up. So then, they're watching, and, one guy's going, one person worse than the next up there. And these are the people who are supposed to be the good comedians. So I had my second Jack Daniels, and Jessica's like, come on, you should try. And I'm like, I have nothing. I don't have a joke written. What am I going to do? What am I going to do up there? So after my second Jack Daniels and Coke, Jack says to me, you could do this. You could just go up there and rip on the comedians.
And what did Coke say?
Coke said, sit the fuck down. Jack seemed to be a little bit louder. And to be honest with you, a little bit more, he was giving me a little bit more confidence than anybody else.
To alcohol!
That's right. So now I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, calm down, Jack. Let me just, I'm going to just drink a tonic water, okay, a little seltzer water to get myself.
That doesn't keep Jack back.
No. So I said to the waitress, she says, or the bartender, she says, you want another one? I said, you better give me seltzer water, because if you do that, give me another one. I'll be up there on that mic. She goes, I'll bring one over. I said, no, that's okay. So anyhow, I'm listening to them, and I'm talking to them. And then in the morning, this is before all this happened, I get up in the morning, I'm sitting there, I go, I get up and I do my stuff, I get on it, I open up Twitter, and the first thing I see is Donald Trump saying to Putin, we got missiles, and our missiles are smart. Go ahead, you won't shoot our missiles down. And I'm like, oh my God, this fucking guy's going to get us all killed while he's sitting on the toilet pooping, tweeting. And I thought to myself, dude, you may never have a chance to do this, and you've been wanting to do stand-up since you were 14 years old. You listen to every George Carlin album. You could listen to every Richard Pryor album. You could recite them backwards and forwards. So if you don't do it now, you might never get another chance. And Jack says, that's what I'm talking about. Get him another drink.
To alcohol!
So she comes over. She gives me another double Jack Daniels and Coke. This time I look at it, and it's not even, there's like a touch, a splash of Coke. It's just Jack Daniels and a big giant.
Well, that's just to keep you hydrated.
Right. So I drink the third one, and I'm waiting. And I said to the guy, because he's like walking back, and he's sitting back there by me, and I said, can you still sign up? And he goes, yeah. And I said, I've never done this before. He goes, really? I said, no, I used to go to open mic nights. I had material, but I could never get up on stage. I said, but fuck it. So he goes, yeah, you'll be on last. So I'm like, all right. So now I'm listening to the other comedians and all this stuff, because I have nothing. So now what I got to do is I got to get up and rip riff on the comedians. One black woman was there. Her name was Lisa. Another woman.
Oh, with the Cold Jam?
God damn you, Deuce. Will you stop it?
Hey,
don't get ahead of me.
I'm a product of the 80s. What
Right.
can I say?
There's another woman there. She's talking about her husband is a paraplegic, okay? And she's telling me how she's got her sister, like he's got like more than one wife. And, that's really, because now they're nagging the shit out of him. I'm like, okay, mental note for that. And then there's this other guy, and he was supposed to be one of the professional comedians, and his name was Bradley Cooper. Mm-hmm. But he didn't look like Bradley Cooper.
It wasn't Rocket Raccoon?
No. So he's there, and he gets up, and he's like, oh, Bradley Cooper this, Bradley Cooper that. So it was the end of the night, and I got up, and I swear I did 3 minutes and 14 seconds. And
was there a length of time that they give you?
You could do whatever you wanted.
Okay. I thought maybe after like 5 minutes, Steel Kane, like from vaudeville comes and
there was one guy up there. He must have been in his late 70s, early 80s. He had a flush red shirt on, blue pants, and a blue Gilligan hat on. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he was like maybe 5'5", and when he walked like he leaned back, and his feet would go out like he was testing for mines.
Like the Keep on Trucking cartoon?
Yeah, like the Keep on Trucking cartoon. So I'm like, okay. So I figure I'm just going to get up there. I'm just going to riff, do 5 minutes and get off the stage. And I did it. Now, I have it, and I've listened to it. Mm-hmm. I don't think I can play it.
Right.
And I can't play it because it's too – I don't think you can tell I'm drunk.
No balls.
Stop it.
To alcohol.
See, I don't have enough. Jack's not here right now whispering in my ear. So Jessica was nice enough to record it for me. So I have it.
What did she do? Record on her phone? Like
she was right. Dude, she was right there. It's boosted the. Listen, I worked on the audio. I've listened to it like 4 or 5 times. Every time I listen to it, my asshole puckers up and tries to rip the seat cover off of this chair.
Worse than when you sang without where we could hear it in the studio, but it wasn't. The feed wasn't.
God, no! I don't think it was that bad.
I never heard this one.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God! No, it's not that bad. Oh Jesus Christ! Yeah, I mean, so
we could hear it, but it wasn't going over Facebook.
All right.
So whoever was watching on Facebook.
Well, I think we should hear it privately, and then Deuce and I'll decide whether we think we should.
All right. Here's what I'll do. I'll play it, okay, and if I don't like it, I'll pull it in post.
What now?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, okay.
We're still talking about it, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Now, remember, I was the last to go, and I was at least...
I was top qualifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was double Jack Cokes into it.
All right, Jimmy. Okay. Listen, I've already seen you white girl wasted call me up. Here we go. Hey, guys. Thank you so much. This is my very, very first open mic. Woo!
This is his first time, so shut the fuck up and give him respect.
Rough crowd.
You know what? Bradley Cooper, I gotta tell you something. Here's the thing. What a tough life you must live. Like, Bradley Cooper, that's your name? You gotta be kidding me. Like, you go to Tinder, someone swipes right, they say Bradley Cooper, and you show the fuck up? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Holy cow. I mean, how do you live up to that? If I were you, I would go to the bridge and jump tonight. But I got to tell you something. I respect every one of you people here tonight that got up and stood up here tonight. Grab a microphone, come up and lay your soul out here tonight. You got to be kidding me. I mean, this is amazing. Lisa, thank God you got rid of Cold Jam. I mean, the fucking hits of the late 80s. You got to be kidding me. Thank God you got rid of those fucking losers. That's amazing. Some lady came up here tonight and she said she bought pussy. And every guy here said, what? You do that every week? You kidding me? I mean, we pay for it every week, one way or the other. Right? No?
Somebody say something.
Anyhow.
Yes.
I'm just glad that I got a chance to get up here and do this because this is my bucket list item. This morning I woke up and I looked at Twitter at Donald Trump's yelling at Putin, like, those missiles are coming. I'm like, Somebody go in there and grab that motherfucker's phone and get him off the fucking toilet. He's gonna kill us all while he poops. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, cut me a break. But don't worry. If you guys decide that comedy's not your big thing, one day you can start a podcast.
Yes.
And no one will listen to you.
Yeah!
That's right. There's one more rung on that fucking ladder of life that you can go. And that's start a fucking podcast. Like, when you start a podcast, your friends don't even listen. That's the truth. They're like, hey, listen, I really had a good podcast. What did you think? What I think? I don't listen to you. But you're like my friend. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't listen to you. I listen to regular radio.
Oh my God.
Someone take the mic off that asshole.
Podcasting could be in your life. And I want to ask the one question that everybody's asking. Who fucking dressed Vinny tonight? Dude, are you kidding me? Do you own a fucking mirror? I love the way you look. That's amazing. I had a feeling when he came up here tonight, I didn't know he detailed cars. I thought he went somewhere and he used to test for mines. All right, thank you very much. This has been a bucket load.
All right, there you go. The comedic stylings of John Buchanan. Ugh. You know, the funny thing was, like, there was a lot of it that it's not funny because you weren't there for the sets. I mean, the guy.
Well, Jimmy and I don't have a context, but you were there, so.
Yeah, I was there, so I was kind of ripping on people. And then, you know, the other thing, too, was I got up there and I was rushing. And I should have just I had more. Mm-hmm. Like, I had more to do. And it's kind of like this podcast.
Well, when you're doing it, it feels like
everything was going 1,000 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was up for 15 minutes.
Right.
When I got the audio back and it was 3 minutes, I was like,
what?
That's 3 minutes. I felt like I was up there for an hour. But I did it. So there you go.
There you go.
It only took me 20-something years. More than that. 20.
And what did it take?
30 years.
And what did it take to get you up there? 2 alcohol.
2 alcohol.
It's like I always say.
And I'm not advocating that everybody should drink. It just worked for me.
That's right.
I'm going to shit in Johnny's oatmeal right now.
Of course you are.
Because in 1989, 80-something, I watched him in Cherry Hill in a comedy contest with 3 other comedians. So it's not his very first time.
That was a game. That wasn't doing stand-up.
Yeah, it was.
Dude,
they ranked you.
No.
Yes.
What happened was
that the Ground Round or something? They used to do
some
stuff
hotel.
like that.
Big hotel in Cherry Hill.
Cherry Hill.
Yeah, Cuthbert Boulevard.
And they were trying out this TV show. It was like Jeopardy, but it was called Punchline. Mm-hmm. And I got up against 2 other people. And what happened was that they would tell you a joke, and then you had to tell the punchline. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't know the punchline, if you made up the punchline, it was funny, you would win.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought it was
I
just
didn't
a
do
comedy
that.
stunt.
So what happened was I was up there. So, you know, it was like the first joke was, what do you call nuts on a wall? Walnuts. What do you call nuts on a chest? Chestnuts. What do you call nuts on a chin? A blowjob. So, and it was like that kind of thing. And and you had to do these jokes. And it was like, okay, I'll take, I'll take ethnic jokes for $500. And you went through this whole thing. And I got to Double Jeopardy. And I was so far ahead of these guys. I could have done, I bet it all and fucking didn't know it because I was going.
Cliff Clavin.
I Cliff Clavin. But wait, I came back and ended up beating him anyhow.
Yeah, he won.
I did win.
He did
won.
win, but I didn't realize it was a game.
Yeah,
like
that was a game show. I didn't get up and do stand up. Mm-hmm. That I did not get up and do stand up.
I remember you always talking about doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, I used to write material and then go over to the Comedy Factory outlet in 84, 85, before I even went to college.
Clay Heery.
Yeah.
Who?
Clay Heery.
Is he still alive?
Beats me.
I mean, his career's dead, clearly.
Jerry from Bad Cop mentioned his name one day, and I completely forgot about who it was.
Right.
I you know, with my mind. So I used to go there, and I would sit and watch these guys bomb like that, like they were doing last night, and I was like, I can't get up there and bomb like this. I mean, it was like when you get up and you do jokes and no one laughs, or they just, worse yet, they just stare at you. Like there was one guy, and he said he was doing something, and it was like crickets. And he's sitting there, and he's looking, and he goes, well, you know, I got better ones. And I go, there's nowhere to go but up. And he's like, that was rude.
Was he a podcaster?
No, he wasn't a podcaster.
He was
Well, the reason I said that is a few weeks ago, Diane, I don't think I told you this, or it never came up. Diane and I and a bunch of friends went to West Cape May, and there's a winery down there. I think it's Willow Wood or Willow Creek Winery.
Okay.
And they had you paid money, you got a meal, you got a wine sampling, and then there was 4 comedians while you were eating, and they were performing like right after dinner. And one guy was horrible, and he was a podcaster.
Okay.
Well, 2 of the comedians, I'm getting ahead of 2 of the comedians were podcasters. The last guy was a scream. 3 out of the 4 of them were pretty funny, but this one guy, he was just really bad. I mean, he was coming out with dark humor. I mean, everyone's feeling good. Everyone's got a nice buzz going on. You're drinking wine. It's a nice atmosphere to do weddings there. And this guy is like really dark.
Comes up and does a Anthony Jeselnik. I don't know if you know.
He did he started off with like heroin jokes and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like, wow, that's like pretty fucking dark.
I like dark.
No, I mean, it was like really horribly dark.
I like my comedy like you like your coffee. Dark and strong.
This was even beyond the pale because, you had the guy that warms the crowd. Like how Jason would do it?
Sure.
Okay, he would like introduce each comic.
Right.
That's called the MC.
Yeah, the MC.
Yeah,
right.
so we had a guy and this guy had chops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the first guy on was great. Then the MC comes on and he's good. And then he brings this guy up. And he loudly announces that he's a podcaster, and Diane starts like pointing at me, and I'm like, "He's a podcaster. Shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
Put your fucking hand down."
Yeah, like fortunately I was way in the back, so I was like, but this guy was like so bad. I mean, not only was he dark, but he was unfunny.
Okay,
and like he basically, I think
it was like Daniel Redbolt's doing stand up.
The vaudeville cane was coming out and just like pulled him off. Then there was this Indian comic, and he was a scream.
Hello.
He was he did the whole thing, like the whole thing and everything. And
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Of course.
I
mean, when you go to comedy and you don't get the whole thing.
He immersed himself in the whole Hindu.
In other words, he
did the whole
his,
thing. Yes, exactly.
He embraced his Hinduism
because he could see the fun in it. And then the last guy, he was funny, and he was a podcaster. These guys, couldn't even tell you their names, but they're from the Long Island, New York area. So it was only like a day's drive.
New York, Long Island podcasters came down to this place to do stand-up.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they got paid.
Well, I got to tell you something. Well, okay, I got to tell you something. If I was ever going to do stand-up again, I would go as far the fuck away from here as I could, just in case you bomb and you don't want to know somebody.
Yeah. Well, apparently this place they do it all winter long because obviously in New Jersey it's not like California where the whole state's a winery. It's open all year round. So obviously, cold winter months they got nothing.
Sure.
So they do this to bring people in.
Yeah,
and it was actually we had a great time. We went down with like 4 other couples. And it was really a lot of fun.
It was fun doing an open mic. I mean, it was fun going there and listening. Even the people that bombed, it was still fun to go down there and listen to them. Like there were some guys, I mean, here's what I was doing. Like, if they were really, really bad and all, I would give them I was kind of give them the laugh. It's almost like a pity laugh, to be quite honest with you. Because they would say something, I would go, and then people would be laughing at me.
Well, the heroin
joke
teller could have used you that night because, oh man. it was.
Heroin! Oh my God! You stick it in the vein.
It's like death.
Yeah.
It's like.
I had a nephew die on heroin.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Because there was a table next to us, and these 2 people they
were getting uncomfortable.
Well, they looked incredibly pissed off, and it makes me wonder, like. I wonder if they lost someone to heroin.
Right.
And like this.
They don't find it funny?
Yeah, this asshole's up there like joking about heroin.
Well, there's really no regulations for comedy. No. So it's all fair and game.
Right. Again, everybody's got, in this, let me tell you something. to try to do comedy in this day and age
And not
with
offend?
everything that's going the fuck on. I mean, just, somebody's doing, hey, you can't talk about this. You can't talk about that. How are you supposed to be funny? You can't make fun of anybody. You can't make fun of a stereotype.
You used to.
You used to be able to make fun of a stereotype.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah, but don't you think, like, no, I'm not saying that the guy didn't have the right to say it, and I understand what you're saying, but
Is there some stuff that should be...
No. What I'm saying is you would think that this guy was hanging back.
Right.
All right. They're in the back of the room and everything. They're seeing what's going on. All right. People were in this venue. It's not like it was like a heavy boozed up kind of a thing. It was just wine.
Dude, you've got an act.
You know what I'm saying?
You've got an act. That's all you have.
This guy lasted like a minute and a half.
Right. You have an
He
act.
crashed and burned that fast.
Right. And that's all you have. It's not like you got a golf bag there and you're like, this looks like a 5-iron crowd, or this looks like a sandwich crowd. I mean, you just got your act and you go up there and do it, and whether it hits or not, it
if
doesn't.
the guy came from backstage right onto the stage, I could kind of see that. But we saw these guys like mingling around. You figured that they would kind of like, well, let's read the crowd a little bit.
I mean, just to do to write 5 minutes of material that you think is funny and to be able to put that out there and be funny. I mean, well, I would do
maybe if this guy didn't come right out of the shoot with heroin. No pun intended.
Maybe it would have started off
pot,
with marijuana.
Yeah, maybe with like Kids Today.
Yeah, Kids Today.
And then like built up to that.
Back in our day, we smoked a joint.
Yeah. Started out with Tide Pods and
talking about like death and heroin.
Right.
Might not be went in like to get the audience on your side right out of the
everybody's
shoot
a
with
critic. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel for anybody that goes up there and dies, to be quite honest with you. Like I said, I watched a lot of guys. It was almost.
Well, that got your material. You gained your material.
Yeah.
You developed your story.
But, again, and a lot of people don't like it when you do crowd work, when you work on a crowd. First of all, I walk up there and there's a girl and she's from media away and she's like 5'8", and she's got her hair shaved on the side and she's got hair on the top and she looks like this militant feminist, right? And she's sitting there and she's got these kind of new age clothes on and she's got like buttons, like buttons like.
I like Ike.
Yeah, I like Ike buttons.
But not that.
Something like that.
The smiley face.
Right.
She was a time traveler.
I don't. And she's sitting there. She's sitting there, and she's staring right at me. Right.
Well, where would she look?
I'm afraid to make eye contact because because she wasn't a comedian. She was just there to watch a comedian or something.
Afraid you might be smitten?
I'm surprised you didn't go with the hair.
I was afraid that I was going to start working focus on her and start because I wanted to ask her like 15,000
stammering.
No, I wanted to ask her like 15 fucking questions because there was a guy right next to her, and I could have done probably another minute and a half on her and him.
Did she have high cheekbones?
Yes, she did have high cheekbones.
She can pull that look off.
Yes, she can.
See,
she was attractive.
Again,
no, she was very attractive.
Once again, Deuce is right.
Okay, just ask Jude. He'll tell you you're right.
Yeah, Sean hates the fact that
I team up with you.
Oh, my God, you two. Jesus Christ. It's like a fucking circle jerk in here.
You're just jealous because no one's on your side.
That's true.
So I had the story half right. He did win his first, public
half
appearance.
Right? You said I did stand up.
I thought it really, I really did think it was.
You were there.
It was 1987.
Right. I hear you.
Many years
Decades ago.
31 years ago.
It was pre Camden County College.
No, I didn't even know you.
No, it was pre.
Probably just before I met you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think we were with that Petruski group.
You were there with your wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you were there with your wife. And
who?
Yeah,
ex-wife.
Well, it's ex-wife.
Were we even married?
They were married.
We were.
If you weren't married, would you be there with her? Let me cut me a break.
Yeah, we dated. So
no, you were married.
Okay.
Married? Yes, married.
Marriage.
So yeah, it was.
So the Princess Bride.
So now I want to come up with 5 minutes material and go try it again sober. Now that I got the,
I can hear his little.
I feel. You know what I felt like? I was like a 25-year-old virgin, where it was like, just look, I got to get this. I got to break the cherry.
Yep.
I got to get this over with.
Yep.
Just get in here and get it done one time. Rip the Band-Aid off.
You should wear a tux.
Right, yeah, because that would be a good look for me. A tux. I'll look like the fucking
oversized penguin.
The penguin. Yeah, looked like the penguin.
When we got married, John was very upset that we were wearing tails.
Yeah. He's like, you're wearing tails.
Tails? We're going to look like penguins. Like, what's this wee shit, white man?
Yeah. So then I get my cummerbund. I go to put it on. The fucking buckle snaps. Almost put somebody's eye out. Now I had to tie it on. Oh, and
safety pin and tied it on.
Right. So you were in the chat room of what's
Three
the name
is
of the
Comedy?
No, not Three is Comedy.
I mean, the evening radio podcast?
No, the other one they were doing. God damn it! I cannot figure out why I can see the logo and I can't get the.
I was in a chat room.
You were in the chat room because Jason was talking to you. The difference between us.
Oh, okay.
Damn it! God, I have such a mush brain.
Yes.
So you're in the chat and they were talking about commitment, and you told the story about how Diane's maid of honor, quit. Like how 6 weeks before?
No, about 3 weeks before.
3 weeks. 3 weeks before.
Yeah. Well, it was like almost immediately. Yeah.
Okay. So she didn't have it. And then Diane asked my girlfriend at the time, Sandy.
Right.
Well, and they were like, oh, my God, she almost didn't have a maid of honor.
Right.
You really almost didn't have a maid of honor because that day we're all getting ready. I got to go. We're getting ready to go. It's August.
Yeah.
It's
August,
hot and humid out. And of course, every woman with curly hair has to straighten it. Every woman with straight hair has to curl it. So Sandy's trying to straighten her hair. It's all humid. It keeps frizzing up. She's having a freak out fit because she's got to put her hair up and all this stuff. And it looks like, it looks like shit. So she says to me,
I'm not going.
Exactly.
We discussed this. I believe.
I understand that. But what I'm thinking is, if I didn't put my fucking foot down and say, get in that fucking car, we're going. I don't care what you look like. You wouldn't even be here right now.
Get in there. Get in there.
You wouldn't even be here right now.
Oh, yeah, I'd have shot you. You wouldn't be here. Me and Jimmy would be doing a podcast.
About Cousin Jeff. I would have driven her to a hairdresser. I would have ran in
We
and
didn't
said,
have time, Jimmy.
Not on a Sunday, you're not.
Oh, Sunday.
We got married on a Sunday.
What, are you Jewish?
No.
No, it's just Diane.
We.
What do you mean?
French?
What's this
You got a
we
mousy
shit?
pocket?
What had happened was Diane was married before. Her divorce became finalized actually on April the 15th. And I was, with the company I was with, I was in the management program, and I was going to get promoted like any minute. So we planned a wedding for 200 plus people between April the 15th and the end of May. We had it all done, and the date was in August. So, I mean, anyone that tells you that you need a wedding planner and you need at least a year and a half to do that shit, I assure you, you do not. It's just another way to get more money out of you.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, and then literally like 3 weeks before Diane's ex-sister, it was her sister-in-law, and she bailed.
Okay, I have to hear the backstory, though. Why
she's a bitch. That's all.
Well, just Diane, because you didn't get a chance to address it because you were just in the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
Did Diane talk to her anymore after
No,
that?
Diane still talks to her, which infuriates me.
Still to this day.
Oh,
30
yeah,
years
it
later,
just
20-something,
infuriates
25.
me.
Well, 3 weeks to go, she bails.
Yeah.
And no real reason.
Well, she said she didn't have $2,000 to spend on a gown.
2,000?
Exactly. The gowns that Diane picked out for all the girls went out together with Diane because she was very considerate of
modest.
This is an expenditure.
Right.
And she didn't want to get extravagant. And those gowns that they wore were less than like $180.
I mean, Sandy bought it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I said, oh my God, I can't believe we got to pay this for that. It wasn't even an issue.
Yeah. And because, I mean, we've all heard of weddings where the bridal party spent exorbitant amounts of money on gowns, and that's what it was. But she just throws this number out there. My mom wanted to drive over there and choke her, so it's just like, and she would have,
We had a good time.
Yeah. And the bad part of that was we couldn't replace her. So we just couldn't. I mean, it was easy enough. Like, hey, Sandy will now be the maid of honor.
Right.
Now we needed someone to take Sandy's place. And it was so close that we couldn't do that. And till this day, I mean, that's why I have a lot of animosity toward this bitch. Is because we had to cut Don out of the wedding party. Because Don was in the wedding party.
Okay.
And that,
Yeah.
So,
I understand that. I didn't know. You know what? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I hate that.
Well,
bitch.
you don't have to have an even amount. It would be awkward for somebody.
You have to have an even amount.
Well,
What's Don supposed to walk down the aisle by himself?
Stag.
no,
Pointing, hey, how's it going?
handing out jokes. No, you could have doubled.
Like Rodney Dangerfield.
I got no respect. They don't even get anybody to walk with. Listen, I'm so ugly they wouldn't even give me a girl to walk with.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it was like it's a huge, and that's why it drives me crazy till this day that Diane still associates with that cunt. So,
Okay.
yeah. So.
You could have tagged.
Wow.
Yeah.
Two guys could have tag teamed one girl. It would have looked a little funny. But you could have announced, hey, this
Two
bitch.
guys with one girl?
Yeah, this bitch bagged on us. You could have made the
I
announcement.
guess you could have.
Well, because
Who's Don?
Who's Don?
Yeah.
Dandy Don.
Dandy Don. He's a friend of ours.
Okay.
He's the reason I met Deuce because Don
I
was
don't know.
Deuce's friend.
Yeah.
And then Deuce, I was hanging around with Don, and then through Don, I met Deuce.
How did you decide who got bumped?
Well, it was his brothers.
Because it was John was my best man. It was my two brothers and my uncle.
Right.
So it's
Sorry, Don.
Sorry, Don.
that was
That's
yeah.
Poor
I
Don.
believe. I mean, it was like I was until this day. I'm still. I mean, it's going to be 26 years. I'm still sick over it.
Yeah. I hear you. All right.
well. It would have been hard. Yeah, it would have been hard to find another woman to jump in.
It was we
He couldn't get a dress.
we canvassed everybody.
Well, you had to dress, didn't you?
You can't just. I got to find someone that fits the
dress.
Fits the dress.
Yeah, it was just like
I need a friend that's
would
like
be,
a 7.
That would be funny. Today.
we tried to like get cousins of mine, Diane, and some of them couldn't come. Some, because we planned our wedding so fast
quickly. Yeah, I get you.
that in August people already had like vacations.
You don't
planned,
know this,
cruises.
but Jimmy knows people. I get things done.
I didn't know
Yeah, if
Jimmy.
you knew that back then, I would have found Don the perfect girl to
Right.
walk down the aisle with.
I hear you.
Hindsight is always
Yeah,
funny.
Jimmy's a matchmaker.
Well, I'll remember the next time that I'm getting married.
Right. Somebody bails.
And
Right.
some bitch bails out on being the matron of honor.
Yes.
I just want
That's who you would have been walking with.
Yeah. But then I ended up.
Sandy would have been walking with Don. That was the intent.
Okay.
And then it was obviously my two brothers and my uncle.
I'm telling you,
and my
dude.
Aunt Linda. So
I was like, what do you mean you're not going? You got to get in the car. I don't care what you look like. Get in the car. I really don't care. Get in the car. It was a huge fight.
put a hole in the wall with the phone, didn't you?
I threw it through the window.
Yeah, out through the window. Okay.
Yeah, I threw the
Oh,
through
Johnny.
the cordless throw it through the window.
This is the guy. This is the guy that
Yeah.
talks
that?
everybody else
Right.
off the cliff.
What?
He's the guy who talks everybody else off the cliff.
Well, back then, listen, I have a temper.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't get me there. That's all. All right. So I got some feedback from our last episode where we had the can't understand normal thinking bracket.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Well, they didn't like it.
Where's that at?
It's
I see it now.
Yeah. Here's one of the messages I got. By the way, didn't really like the episode with the can't understand bracket. Just came off of really, really bad, in my opinion. I get the Jen Guntner reference because it dealt with you guys directly. Just seems a bit forced and over the top, not genuine as you guys usually are. So,
Who said that?
I don't want to. I'm going to.
Well, tell me otherwise.
Yeah. So they got that. And then another friend of mine sent me a text. I'm listening to the Brand X right now, the episode where you bracket the biggest cunts. Hate all three of you.
It's a little strong.
Oh, good. That means it was good.
Right. So then I said, you mean the can't understand normal thinking bracket? And then she sent me the
I
emoji.
see the middle finger.
The middle finger emoji.
So it's a black woman?
No, it's not.
Well, because it's a brown
She's
hand.
she's culturally appropriating.
Sometimes I get the color change. I don't know how to change it back. That's another iPhone problem.
Right.
Wow.
Jimmy's-
I've already done that.
Jimmy's
I pick it, and it scans over 3 or 4 shades, and I'm like, oh well, it'll work.
Do you wear your eyeglasses at all when you work your phone?
Yeah, it's not. It's the sausage fingers. It's not the,
Last week, he's called. I said, "Hey, you going to be there?" He says, "I can't tonight. I got an online test." And I'm thinking to myself, I just wonder if that test is just to see if he can actually get online.
yeah.
So it was it an on? What kind of test? What kind
Did you answer yes to everything because of
Yeah,
the
the
sausage
size.
fingers? Yes.
No, I was taking the Rutgers fertilizer test.
The fertilizer test.
Yes.
Like you got to know stuff like chinch bugs and
Yeah. Well, no, square foot, volume.
and volume and all that.
Those tests are a bitch.
All right.
All right, why don't we move on to some news stories? Now, you know me.
We know Johnny. If you knew Johnny like I knew Johnny, then
I knew
Johnny.
So my thoughts about teachers, female teachers having sex with students.
Yeah, you're a scumbag. You'd like
Right.
that.
I just think it's not a big. I think that there's a double standard, to be quite honest with you. Except in this case.
That definitely is a double standard.
Right. In this case, there's this 27-year-old teacher who was having sex with a 13-year-old male student. And here's the kicker. When they found out her husband, she's married. Married? Yes, married. Her husband tried to call the parents and said, listen, let's not go to the cops. Let's see if we can settle this, by ourselves and shit. And, like, no, we're going to the cops. So they go to the cops. Now she's trying to go to jail. And I'm thinking to myself, if you found out your wife was having sex with a 13-year-old student, would you try to get her out of any trouble?
What does this guy look like?
I don't know what he looks like, but she's not bad looking.
That's what I'm saying. If this guy looks like he was in an acid burn.
So you're just saying he's not going to get another piece of ass?
Yeah,
like
right,
this?
Exactly.
All right. So,
Do they have?
God damn it!
Do they have children?
It doesn't say that they have children.
Where the hell's Goodyear at?
It's in Arizona.
Okay.
And she had sex in the classroom and in her car. And how did she get caught? Sending naked pictures. Again, with the naked pictures. Not that this one shouldn't have got caught, to be quite honest with you. And listen, they had a video of her, like when she went to court. And, they gave her, she had to put up like $25,000 cash, not $250,000. Like she had $250,000 cash bail.
Right.
She had to put up $25,000. She didn't have it.
Yeah.
So she's like, and they're like, well, what would you like to do? And she's like, well, I'd like to go home and I'd like to go home and be with my husband. And I'm like, well, if you weren't banging a 13-year-old,
we wouldn't be here.
You probably would be able to do that. But since you are, we're going to fish you for an orange jumpsuit. So, all right, Jimmy, back off that mic a little bit. You're breathing into it a little too hard there.
That was on purpose. That was on purpose.
Oh, you did that on purpose?
Yeah.
Well, mission accomplished. Wow. Look at you.
That'd be cheese off Johnny.
Oh, it's like, wow. No, I'm thinking to myself, what the hell was that? I thought we had an earthquake.
Yeah. All right, so back to your story. What's the is there any outcome yet?
It's funny. I tried to check out the story again. Yeah, look at that, Jimmy. What do you think?
Not bad, not bad.
What would you give her on a scale of 1 to 10?
6.5.
6.5?
7. 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's a bad picture.
That's yeah.
Yeah, and usually no one gets all gussied up for their mugshot.
It looks like kind of looks like she was crying, too.
Yeah, she had the life sucked out of her a little bit.
She's got a gap in her eyebrow.
Right.
Better do something about that.
I'm sure they'll take care of that.
I'd love to hear her defense.
Well, the student told police that the contact began when the teacher began flirting with him on a classroom chat group. She sent him a naked picture of herself and another of herself wearing lingerie and told the police he also sent her pictures of himself naked. Nice. In one exchange, the court records show that the victim told her he wanted to have sex with her again. She replied, I know, baby. I want you every day with no time limit. There we go.
Now, see, these people are stupid.
Which people?
The people that would do this Facebook or texting, they're putting the nails in the coffin for themselves.
Oh, yeah. It's just there's a whole, all the evidence is right there.
Yeah. If you're going to shit where you eat, don't record it.
Right. The commissioner found probable cause to hold her in jail on suspicion of 8 counts of sexual conduct with a minor, 2 counts of child molestation, 1 count of transmitting obscene material.
Transmission. Well, it would be the transmission of, so
yeah, transmission.
Which would be totally apropos.
Yeah, there we go. I was almost there. I almost made it. Her initial appearance in court, she told the commissioner that she would love to go home to be released. I would love to go home to my husband. Yeah, I don't think that's happening unless you get $25,000. Her husband, whose name was redacted, harassed the teen's father over the phone, calling him and pleading with him not to contact the police. Court records say the husband told the teen's father that the wife had made a big mistake. Big mistake. But she loved kids.
Evidently.
Listen,
apparently.
she made a big mistake. She loves kids. Yeah.
Especially yours.
He suggested that they meet up and settle this, and the boy's father declined and hung up on him. So there you go. Yeah.
Wow.
I
think the husband evidently even realized, like, because he might have that fucked up rule John has, like, well, if they're 15 or 16, it's cool. But because he was 13.
Not with my wife. Oh, wait a minute. What's this now?
The father of the 13-year-old.
The father. What? Why is it you can't get on mic? What is it with you?
I'm on mic. No?
But I don't know. Get it to the side or something, because you're so, like, you can barely hear him. Or is it me? He's right on it.
Why don't you turn his mic up?
It's up. It's as loud as the rest of ours. It's his voice. He has his voice. I don't think he likes to hear his voice.
No, it can't be that. Anyway.
Okay. Whatever.
In this light, Jimmy looks like the Dos Equis guy.
Yeah, he does.
I don't always podcast, but when I do on the Jimmy.
I don't always speak on mic, but when I do, I breathe.
I'm on the Brand Text
Anyway, you guys.
I don't always talk in the mic, but when I do, I breathe like a lunatic. Right. Yes.
So, no, we were saying the father drew the line in the sand. If he was 16, he probably would have said okay, but because he was 13.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think, right. I think I think the teacher's husband thought that she would get away with a lenient sentence if the kid was 15 or 16 or 17.
Right.
But being that the kid was 13, I think he knew this was a hand grenade.
And these laws are state laws. They vary. And there are age laws about it. I mean, 13 she might do some real serious time.
Yeah. Arizona, I don't know about now, but I remember it was either Arizona or New Mexico. It was one of those southwestern states. Like, the legal age to marry was like 14.
Really?
Yeah, 14 or 15 was really low.
With parent consent. Yeah.
No, I don't think he needed it. And then they changed it to parental consent. It was just like, yeah, go. Because when it was a territory, like in 1890, it was just like, what was the average lifespan in? 30?
Right, so you got married at 14.
Well, that was common in 1800s. Yeah, 14-year-old.
In the 1800s, you know what they said. If there's grass on the field, play ball.
Oh, it was very common to get mail order brides, 13, 14, 15.
Mail order?
Yeah.
Where? When?
In the 1800s.
Yeah, that's how they settled.
You mean arranged marriages?
No.
Mail order brides?
Yes.
Yeah, he would send away. That's why a lot of
like Sears and Roebuck?
Well, no.
What the fuck do you send away for a mail order bride?
The European
1800s?
countries, like especially.
And San Francisco, that's why a lot of the Chinese came over and everything.
Yeah.
I wonder how much it would cost for an Asian bride back then.
A 25-year-old, there was like, just say, 3-4 brothers, like.
Okay.
And they
7 sons for 7 brothers.
Okay.
They would
musical.
They would contact. I want to say Poland was one of the big countries for Ireland also, but he's saying the Asians too. I don't know for sure, but I did hear about it, and they would correspond somehow, and
you would buy a woman.
Basically, yeah, they'd send a dowry to the parents, right, or backwards it would be, yeah.
Right. You go marry.
Yep.
Bye.
Say goodbye.
Send picture kids.
I'm sure the prices were inflated in San Francisco because of the gold rush. That's why everyone ran out there.
Mm-hmm.
The San Francisco gold rush of 1849.
There we go.
Hence the name, the 49ers.
Niners. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me you didn't know that.
I knew it was due to the gold rush.
Okay.
Gold rush.
You know what it is?
Have some more Coke in chat.
Need some
no, Johnny's got that lazy tongue. He keeps getting in front of his eye teeth.
Fat,
he can't see what he's saying.
Jersey tongue, yes.
He gets in front of his eye teeth.
And now you can hear it so much better.
To alcohol.
That's right.
Is that you? Alcohol.
Yes, of course it is. Love breaking my balls. Okay. On to the next story.
That's what we do.
All right. So a guy in jail, he hates his wife so much, he decides that another guy's getting out. He wants to pay this guy that's getting out to go kill his ex-wife and her boyfriend. So, Jimmy, he can't see this.
I can see
how
it.
much do you think it costs to have your wife killed,
well,
from
both,
jail?
$10,000.
Yeah?
$5,000 each.
Oh, okay.
You think?
I see where you're going with this.
All right, now.
I would have guessed what Jimmy just said.
Now,
well, $7,500, half price on the second.
Nope. It cost 20 trays of food and $2,000 once the hit was complete.
Well, wait a minute.
What?
20 trays. So he prepaid.
They were both in jail together.
So he had to give him 20 trays of food
had to
up
give
front.
him 20 trays of food up front when he got out and did the deed.
Then he got $2,000.
Then he got $2,000.
Okay, let me ask you this: how does a guy in jail get his hands on $2,000 to transfer to?
Well, a lot of them, they do odd jobs in the prison and they get paid. I mean, they get paid nothing, so they're in there so long.
Maybe he had $2,000 in the bank. I don't know.
Yeah.
An inmate in Lake County Jail signed a contract with a cellmate offering 20 meal trays and $2,000 to kill his ex-wife and her boyfriend. The investigation into a 30-year-old Michael Lee began when a deputy located a hit contract with names and signatures, an affidavit said.
Jesus.
You got to have a contract in jail? I mean, is there no honor among thieves?
Well, thank God.
The inmate who had signed the contract told authorities that Lee said he would give him 20 trays of food to kill his ex-wife and her boyfriend when he gets out. Wednesday, deputies said Lee offered to give the inmate another $2,000 once the hit was completed. The inmate who signed the contract, whose name is redacted from the report, said that the guy was an idiot. He was going to take the food, but he had no intentions of harming the woman or her boyfriend when he got released. So he's going to eat the food and then welch on the contract.
Yeah, what's the guy going to do? Break out and get him?
Listen, he signed a contract. That motherfucker's supposed to kill my ex-wife and her boyfriend. What the hell's going on here?
No honor among thieves, Johnny.
Can you believe that? Lee went as far as to provide the inmate with the ex-wife's address, license plate number, and the name of her employer. Records show Lee is currently in jail on charges involving his ex-wife. He had a history of stalking and threatening her. Really?
Yeah, she must have a trick pelvis.
Hey, listen.
If I can't have her.
Right. Nobody's getting her. Another OJ.
Yeah.
Deputies said Lee denied soliciting his podmate to murder his ex-wife. Instead claimed that he was giving that inmate meals because the inmate had no money in his commissary account. Oh, what a nice guy. Because that's what you do in jail.
Yeah.
Right?
I think they're going to feed you anyway, whether you have no money in there.
Right. Like you get a meal. I think you get a bologna sandwich.
Well, you can buy your...
yeah, you could buy stuff.
Your extra stuff, right.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good weight reduction program.
Are they charging him?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they'll tack something onto his sentence. Attempted
She's
murder.
the mother of my kids. She gave birth to them. She was a stay-at-home mom at one time. I took care of the kids when she worked. She has no reason to fear me. I would never harm her or my kids. But what about the guy you just paid? He would do it. Right?
Yeah.
20 trays to kill someone in any correctional facility across the United States. Food is currency. You know, it could be laughable if it wasn't so serious. That's what people use in these correctional facilities to get what they want. So there you go. Prison currency. It's like prison Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yeah, you beat me to it. I just was going to say
I'm sorry, Jimmy. Beat you to the punchline.
Yep.
Poor Jimmy. A Florida woman on probation for a DUI gets a DUI, then takes a leak all over the back of the cop car. I don't understand why taking a leak all over the back of the cop car is like a big deal. I mean, if you got to go, you got to go, right?
Was she in the cop car?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. McCall LaDouche clearly doesn't give a fuck. I mean, really doesn't give a fuck.
I think that's like Duck.
Really?
Kind of like LaDouche better, but...
that's why I went with LaDouche.
I know. I like to upset the apple cart. It just derails him. He was like, oh.
Yeah, because that's what we do here. We derail me.
No, I've heard cops.
Listen, that's what the listeners really like. They like it when we're going through a bit and then all of a sudden it gets derailed. They really enjoy that.
Pick on John.
They love that. They love it like when I'm in the middle of a joke and you decide to go, hey, you know, the other day we were talking. And I'm like, how do I get back to the bit again?
You know what? They would love it if
what?
they saw the look of exasperation and disgust on your face.
It's an audio podcast.
There's no video.
They can't see the fucking head drop, the shoulders drop. They don't see any
the
of
despair.
that. They don't see any of that.
That's
right.
But take solace in inducing laughing.
God damn it! I want
to.
to. You know what? I want to piss all over somebody's vaccine.
Go ahead, start over.
Now, this crazy lady already has a DUI. So what does she do? She goes out and gets another DUI. So they put the handcuffs on her, put her in the back seat. She gets out of the handcuffs. How do you get out of handcuffs?
It's happened.
Okay.
Well, sometimes, yeah.
They don't put them on tight enough.
That's
Skinny
usually
people.
what happens. And there's a secondary lock that keeps them from expanding or retracting. And
Okay.
Oh, I thought the more you moved it, got tighter.
if they put the secondary lock on.
Okay.
So anyhow, she got out of the handcuffs, and then she took a leak all over the back of the cop car. And then the cop says in the report that she was spreading it all over the back seat.
Well, that's what they got her on then.
Spreading it around?
Yeah, that's just malice.
Right.
Who has to clean that?
They should make LaDouche do it.
Yeah.
I would say.
I've heard of cops.
I think it's LaDuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've heard this before. And cops actually taking the person and abusing them and rubbing their, wiping the seat with them.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I could see that. But I'm just trying to think to myself, like, how, if you already had one DUI.
What was that?
I have no idea. It's either, are you on the website or are you on the?
I open. There's a little window here at the bottom.
Great.
Yeah, great.
That's what it is. Let me. Close
That's why
that.
that's why I take it and put it in Evernote, so we don't have to have all that.
Yeah, I just punched on the link and then it came up, and then it was they're running an advertisement.
Of course. Okay.
All right.
Can we get back to the story?
Yes. Police said they received a call at 1:26 a.m. about a woman driving a red Mazda near a high school who was intoxicated. Police found LaDouche, 20, sitting on the curb near her car, parked at the. I guess it's at a fire station. She was sitting. Police said they found a bottle of vodka in the Mazda front seat and a jar containing marijuana in the back seat. Well, wait a minute. Let me just say this to you. If she's sitting outside the car, why is she being arrested for driving while intoxicated? She wasn't
Public
driving.
intoxication.
Oh, but that's not what they're saying. She got a DUI, driving under influence.
Yeah, but what if the keys are still in the ignition?
But she's not in the car.
She might.
Yeah, they have a lot of weird. If let's say I'm driving home and I've been drinking, and I decide, let me just pull over and take a rest. If I get into the back seat of the car, but I leave the keys in the ignition, I'm driving.
See, that's just stupid.
They tell you to take them out and throw them outside. Put them
outside?
Yep.
Well, keep them separate from you.
Outside?
Yep. Throw them.
Put them in your glove box.
How am I supposed to get them the fuck back out
When
again
you
when I want to go
sober-
home?
when you
I sober
sober
up,
up,
I'm
you
going
find
to want to fucking...
It's better than a DUI.
Well, okay, so let me just tell you. When I went to do stand-up, remember I told you about Jack and me?
6 or 3 double jack
or whatever,
Cokes,
yeah. So by the time when I
Wait
left...
a minute. You did stand-up?
Stop it. Not really. I got up with a microphone and I insulted a bunch of people in a bar. That's what I did. It really wasn't stand-up. You're right. It wasn't stand-up.
You're going to talk about this?
What I'm saying is, afterwards, when I got in the car, I was in no condition to drive.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I took the keys, and they weren't in the ignition, but they were on the front seat.
Nope.
What do you mean, no?
You're not covered.
Not if you have access to them.
You can't have
How the
access.
fuck am I supposed to do? I'm there by myself. I drank too much. Am I supposed to do it? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean,
I don't
cut me a
make the
break.
law, Johnny.
I
I'm just
understand
telling
you
you
don't
the
make
law.
the law, but how stupid is that, right? Like, in other words, if I wanted to drive, I had full access to the keys. I'm sitting there, and I'm just sitting there, taking my time until I can fucking see straight.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Well,
I mean, that's just really, to be honest with you.
Getting back to LaDouche, did somebody report her driving erratically or anything? That could be why she was pulled over.
Well, no. They still can't prove she was the driver. There could have been a person who got out
Yeah,
left.
it could have been another person.
She may be able to walk on that.
Yeah, I think she's
Not
got a
in a
case.
straight line.
She could walk a straight line that night.
I have someone I know who got drunk, ran into a tree, $10,000, $20,000 worth of damage to the car, got out of the car, walked home, left the car. Police came knocking at the door several hours later. They couldn't get her on a DUI. They got her on leaving the scene 1 month, lost the license. When she got home, she was so upset, and she had hit her head. She drank, and it worked. She did not get a DUI.
How about that? Now, there you go. But you're in the car. You can't take the keys and put them anywhere else. What are you supposed to do? Well, am I supposed to put them in the...
Put them in the glove box and you get in the back seat.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I've heard people
Do I
say...
look like I get in the fucking back
He
seat?
has a pickup. You could just out the window and in the bed. If
There
that
you
happens
go.
again. Yeah.
So stupid.
Or you could get in the bed and put them in the glove box.
It was cold. It was chilly that night.
Well,
we're just telling you for future.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, if they don't find the keys in the vehicle.
if you're going to mess around with,
To alcohol.
you got to be able to punt.
Yep.
I understand that.
No,
but I
it's
mean,
not
I was
even
doing
punt.
the
It's,
responsible
audible.
thing. I wasn't driving.
Audible. Audible.
I didn't even have them in the ignition. I didn't have them in the ignition. I had them next to me.
I would think
What if they were in my pocket?
no, you have access to them
Well, how are they going to find out?
because they're going to make you empty your pockets.
I'm not getting out of the car.
Oh,
I'm just going to say, I'm going to put that sign up and say,
yeah,
here's
that
my
works.
driver's license.
That doesn't work in this state, Skippy.
I'm not in this state. I was in the state of Delaware.
It doesn't work in
I
any
was actually in a
Northeast.
state of confusion is what I was.
It doesn't
watch
work.
those
I was in the
videos.
state of
Watch those
inebriation.
videos. What
I
happens?
was like when those people get their windows busted
Smashed
out.
it.
I chuckle uproariously, like, asshole, you should have just did what the cop told you to do.
Well, wait a minute. I mean,
Johnny and I both have a acquaintance, no names, but computer repair guy, minister, cop, and other things.
Wow, why don't you just give us social security number out? That was the
who's this?
The computer repair guy.
Oh, that
he's
one
term-
fucking
no
dude.
names.
Well, I don't even. Good thing because I couldn't remember that
He
guy's
had
name.
he had a weird disease that his body would lock up.
He had a weird disease. Let me tell you, this guy here. One day I'll see his fucking.
Tourette's?
I'll see his face
listen,
on the news where
I had
he
before.
decapitated like 6 or 7 people. I hired this guy one time to fix my computer. He came over. He was at my house for like 6 hours. I couldn't get him out of my house. I was going to call the cops. I swear to God, the guy creeped me the fuck out. He needs them. I didn't even realize it. He's using the guy all the time. Anytime the guy breaks the computer breaks, he has this guy on his
I
house.
finally bought a new one because it was, hundreds of dollars.
You didn't have nothing in your mind. Saw that guy and talked to that guy, and no alarms went off in your head.
he was weird.
Like,
So it was like cable guy?
so anyway,
I'm telling you, this guy. Either he ran like a child porn ring, or he was the creepiest fucking guy. I couldn't get him out of the house.
serial killer.
Yeah.
Or
Hey, how many times did you use them?
at least 3. Doc used them. So anyway,
More work out of it. Oh
anyway,
my God.
whatever his disease was, his body would lock up, and you could actually hurt him or break it. He had a sign made up, 8 by 10, 10 by 11.
Laminated.
If he felt it coming on, he'd pull over, hang it in the window, and it said, "Do not touch me. I have XYZ disease. I need to sit still, and it'll pass. If you try to move me, you can break my bones, blah, 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 blah." And he would...
This was one big dude, too.
Yeah.
Like he was big, tall. He was, husky kind of guy.
Oh, yeah. He was 6'2", 245, 265.
Bigger than that. He's like probably 280, 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big dude, and I couldn't get him out of the fucking house. Like I
Sure,
said,
you needed Derek.
well, I said, because I was married at the time.
And you had to
And I
leave.
said to my wife, I said, how am I going to get this? He's talking about this, and he won't leave and all. I was like, okay, dude, it's time for you to go. I said, how much do I owe you? And I gave him cash, and out the door he went. I was like, I've got to change all our passwords now? I'm afraid of this guy. I'm afraid this guy's
It
going
was definitely weird.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you used them more than once. Jesus, Jimmy. I mean, how do you let that guy in your house?
Well, you did. You referred
One
to
time. One time.
Once and you knew.
If I could have got him out of the house sooner, I would have.
Just one look. That's all it's
I think I sat there playing with my loaded .38 revolver.
Oh, is that what you did?
Yeah.
playing with
No, 2 of them. One crazier than the other. Him and the other guy.
cylinders around.
Shootout between the 2 of them. Holy cow, I can't believe that. All right. Okay.
More bad behavior.
More bad behavior. This is like the bad behavior episode. All right, so let me ask you this question. So a kid goes to high school, all right, and he's charged with animal cruelty because he bit the head off of a chicken that they were raising they were going to have like a farm-to-table meal.
Mm-hmm.
So this chicken was getting it anyhow. So the kid bit the head off the chicken.
Like a geek.
And then he got arrested for animal cruelty.
Mm-hmm.
But if he went into the cafeteria and had chicken nuggets, he'd have been fine.
Well, it's the method that he dispatched the chicken.
It's the cutting it's like biting the head off
Right.
of the animal. I see. So these are all from Florida. I'll tell you what, that state, they should just
Once
throw
again.
a fucking fence around that state. 17-year-old university high school student charged with animal cruelty, trespassing after deputies said he decapitated a live chicken from the school's coop. It's disturbing. It's very disturbing, said Beth.
It is girls do get turned on when they see a guy bite the head off of a chicken.
Right. To kill an animal, a live animal, and it's sad that the kids worked very hard to raise this chicken because they wanted to kill it, clean it, and cook it for the farm-to-table meal. I mean, I don't know. It just seems to me that, what's the difference?
Yeah. Well, it's because
What's the difference?
I don't know, man. I had to be pretty horrific.
First of all, I'm not putting a live chicken's head in
Yeah,
my
I mean
mouth.
that fucker's flapping its wings and clawing its legs.
sure it didn't
and
go
it's
easy.
like right in your face. You're like biting down on it. And
Unless he's
like,
got razor teeth, you know.
Good God.
Scissor hand teeth.
You know, I was looking for stories when Jimmy came down here first, and there was this thing on Reddit where the guy, he takes his head.
Oh, Reddit.
And he sticks his head in an alligator's mouth.
Full-grown alligator.
Full-grown alligator.
And it rolls.
No. So he's sitting there, and he's got his head in there. And he's got his head in there for a while. I don't know. I either tried to do something. That alligator snapped down on that guy's head and started shaking it back and forth. Let me tell you something. If that alligator decided to do one of those rolls that they do when they get something in their mouth.
The death roll.
Yeah, he would have twisted that guy's head right off.
Is that the one that's like in a show?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
Oh, my God. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. Who decided that's a lot of fun?
Stick your head in an alligator's mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. You know, like when they do a lion, like in the circus, when
The
they
lion,
do the thing, when they do the lion, the guy's got a hold of their jaws and he sticks his head in there. At least he's got a hold of it. The thing starts to try to close. You can feel it. You can get your head out.
Maybe.
This guy's like on the ground
Well,
with his head in there.
That's what they always say. An alligator and a crocodile, their mouth is designed to just shut.
Right.
And that's it. So,
right.
You know,
once it's closed.
It's easier. Yeah, once it's closed. Yeah,
you got to put a stick in there. That's why it's like.
Yeah.
You can hold it closed with a
you can't,
string or a tape.
Right. You cannot
open it.
Right. You can't open it, but you can hold it closed.
Right.
Yeah. It's like one of those things. Here's another funny video I saw today. So the guy's sitting there, his wife, he's got this old guy, he's got this baby squirrel, and he's like, say goodbye. And the guy
I love those videos.
Puts it on the tree, and he's like pushing it up the tree, and a fucking cat jumps up and grabs it. And you hear this squeal. You hear the squirrel going, squeeze, squeeze. And you hear the lady going, oh, no, oh, no.
I love those videos, especially like when they release it and like a bird of prey swoops down. It's like, it's like flies off with the rabbit or flies off with the mouse or flies. I love those. It's like nature has other ideas.
That's right.
You know, kids, this is what it's like in the real world. You're talking like Reddit. As like something I wrote down. It seems like Facebook is just like wants everyone to have like bad behavior, or they're condoning not like enriching the soul or be the best person that you can be. I've been noticing this. You've probably seen these things before, so I wrote these down. Okay, and these are like all these like stupid surveys and quizzes that you see on Facebook. These are all legitimate. I wrote there's a lot of them. It says, okay, people who swear are more honest. People who swear are smarter than the rest of the people. People who are late are more successful. People who are late are healthier. People who are late are more creative. People who are late live longer. People who are lazy are smarter. People who are lazy are more likely to be successful. People who are lazy are likely to be more intelligent. People who are lazy are better thinkers. People who drink are smarter. People who drink will live longer. So basically, it's like, I think they realized their core audience of Facebook is just made up of like ne'er-do-well scumbags that are never going to go anywhere in life. So they put these things out just to make them feel better about themselves.
I did hear some of those, and I was pretty astonished.
Yeah, I think they're all bullshit, because if this were true, I'm an entrepreneur now. I'm gonna hire a lazy alcoholic late swearer, because he's going to be the best fucking person in the world.
What an employee.
Yeah, I mean, you would never ever like condone any of this behavior in your regular life, but then Facebook or Twitter or whatever, they put this shit out there. You know, it's like, I've been writing this down over the past like month and a half, just like every time it would like come across my feed, I'm like, okay, let's put that on the fucking list. So finally I filled the page up like 2 days ago, you know, and it's just
look at Stu's doing show prep. Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, there we go.
But you've noticed these things, right?
All the time.
You're just like, so basically,
how big of an asshole are you? Or, you know, one of those things.
And then people are wondering, oh my God, Facebook scraped my information and gave it to a marketing company. How could this happen? Heavens.
Did you watch any of the
Mark Zuckerberg
Lieutenant
hearings?
Commander Data?
Did you watch any of the senators?
No, I was at work that day, but I saw some of it. Couldn't answer Cruz. They're like,
well, not only that, but I mean, the guy. Listen, you got to go and watch some of the questions that they're asking him. They're like, well, if I'm on the WhatsApp and I'm emailing somebody on the WhatsApp, can you take any information out of there? Well, first of all, you can't email on the WhatsApp. So it's like Zuckerberg's looking at him like, how am I going to answer this guy without insulting him? Because he's a fucking moron.
Basically, that's what they said. He had to teach them how it even worked.
And I'm thinking to myself, if anything that those hearings did showed that 90% of Congress are fucking morons.
For what I saw, the question Ted Cruz was asking him basically didn't deal with any of the technical.
Right.
He dealt with why the guy was there, and he looked like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
He was just like,
well,
he was like, oh, holy
actually,
shit.
Ted Cruz had a point. Because the two black ladies that are conservative, I forget the name of them.
Oh, Diamond and Silk.
Right, Diamond and Silk. And so now Diamond and Silk are on Fox News because of all this, and they're asking their questions. And Diamond is the one that answers all the questions. And Silk's the one that sits next to her and goes, oh, yeah. Better believe it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
But they were, like Prager University and all these, I mean, it's like somebody made a pretty good point about this, and it was like, if you name a group on the right that's trying to keep people from speaking, you can't name anybody. But it's all like these left organizations like Facebook with the algorithm they're using, and then Google with the they did away with it when it became public knowledge, where you have secondary sources, and then Twitter with the shadow banning. Right. It's just like, but it's always against like conservative or Republican voices.
So here's my thing. They're supposed to be the party of understanding and acceptance.
Who?
The Democratic Party.
Oh, the lefties.
The left.
Right. The communists.
Right. And meanwhile, they're the ones that want to do all the banning and all the, these need regulations, and we need to do this, and we need to stop this.
And you have a monopoly. There's nothing else like this.
Right. This is bullshit. So for me, I'm thinking to myself, like, I just was listening to somebody the other day, and they're talking about Facebook, and they're like, because, these people are saying stuff, and, they got to get in there and regulate Facebook. I'm like, no, don't regulate Facebook. Leave it the fuck alone.
I did see that. Zuckerberg's an idiot.
Okay.
For even volunteering to even
go there.
Yeah, I mean, because I've seen this picture before in the last industry I've been in. See, the thing is, to boil it down, the federal government, any government, but the federal government especially, is like a vampire. Once you invite it in your house, they're going to come and go as they please. And that's what they did with the tobacco industry. Like, oh, okay, well, we'll do this and and look where we're at now. Well, okay, and that's how it will start.
Right. Well, here's the thing that I have. Is that the government doesn't like the ebb and flow of information and ideas from people. They like to be able to control the information.
Well, it's not the government.
You don't
per
think
se.
so?
It's one branch of the one party of the government.
Both of them. Both sides.
No, not really, because the Republicans are always on the receiving end of being shadow banned and silenced.
I get that, but they
so
still
why would they
like
be in favor of that?
Well, they're in favor of controlling the information, because then they can control the narrative. Listen, they can fight amongst each other, the left and the right. They can fight amongst each other. But one of the things that they kind of agree on is they don't want a
well-educated
populace.
See, I'm going to disagree with you here strictly because the internet is the best thing that happened to conservatives, because they were bypassing the gatekeepers of the three major networks and the New York Times and the Washington Post. So why would they want that? They don't want that.
Right. I understand what you're saying. Yes. You're going to get more of a conservative. I want it unregulated, hands off.
That's the way it should be.
Exactly. That's what I want.
Right. And that's what basically the conservatives are in favor of.
I have to say that the government wants to get money out of it. That's what they want.
Well, all this problem started with Facebook is when they went public and they had to make money, because before it was just like out there. Now they sell advertising. They have to monetize this. And basically, they started scraping information, because you brought it up on the last thing where I went through that thing, and of course mine came up very concerned. I said, you know what? There's no reason that they even need to know this. I turned all that shit off. I deactivated everything that I felt that they didn't need to know about me.
Right.
I went through all that stuff.
There's a thing on Facebook, Jimmy, from what you read and what you look at and all, that they tell you what your political for advertising.
Where you fall.
Where you fall. I was a moderate. What were you?
Well, I know what I am, but it came up as very conservative.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would be very, very communist. somewhat communist, then a pussy, and then
Hey! He pointed at me.
like me.
That's
Here, I'll read. Let me read. Go ahead. You
Go ahead.
continue.
No, what you were
No, I'm
saying.
going to pull this up on Facebook while you're telling Jimmy what's going on.
So anyhow,
The whole exercise that you can go through.
yeah, you go through. I'm not going to go through the whole
No,
thing,
don't.
but you can go on your phone and you can go into your settings and everything, and there's a way that you can find out what they advertisers think of you, and it says political views, and it tells you what your political views are. I was a moderate, where the dude says a pussy,
Right.
And then
Like
he,
me.
right, and then he is like a staunch conservative. He's so far on the right, he almost falls off the table. And then you have these other
I make
liberals.
Ward Cleaver look like Ted Nugent.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you're right. Such a tight ass. You couldn't pound a pin up his ass with a sledgehammer. But what I'm saying is,
So if the Earth was flat, he'd be falling off the
right,
edge.
he'd fall right off the fucking edge of it. So but the thing about it is that anybody that can gather information like that, and if anything's free, basically if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. I mean, it's been said time and time again with so many other different things. So I'm vamping enough. Did you get to your fucking article yet? Because you're killing me over here.
No, go ahead.
What? I'm cutting this out anyhow because it's making no fucking
I
sense.
said we're not doing this live anymore. I got all the time in the world.
Yeah, I'm over here like
now.
a jerk off over here, sitting here saying trying to.
Explain it.
Yeah, I'm over here stretching.
Explain yourself.
Explain yourself.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like ridiculous.
And it's like a lot of the other new modern things. There is no law for it. They don't know where to put it, how to regulate it, what they're going to do.
I was surprised.
Don't do anything. Leave it the fuck alone.
Well, that's what shocked me, that that Zuckerberg was so stupid as a volunteer. Like, oh, okay, I'm all for regulation. That's the last thing that you want. I don't care what you're in.
Skype, the thing what's it called? Skype is that telephone kind of thing, video conferencing.
Right.
So what was happening was people were using it for trafficking, sex trafficking. So now they are going in and, they're saying you can't have any offensive language on Skype or anything. I'm like, how the hell? First of all, what's offensive language? What's offensive to me isn't offensive to you. I mean, they didn't say what it is. They just said offensive language. So now they're in there. So now they've just given themselves the right to come in and listen to your conversations and watch your whatever. And then if they find something that they don't like, then they just boot you off. So I don't know. It's just, again, as soon as it starts to get good and people are using it, now all of a sudden somebody wants to regulate it. And
restrict it.
Make it restrict. Pretty soon you're not going to be able to curse on the internet. Pretty soon we're not going to have explicit podcasts because you can't have it. It'll be under FCC decency regulation.
You offended somebody.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, here we are. To find out what Facebook thinks your political allegiances are, head over to your Facebook page. From there, click on the Lifestyle and Culture tab under the Interest section. There should be a box in that section titled U.S. Politics. You may have to click See More to find it, which will include in parentheses your political designation. For example, liberal, conservative, moderate, etc. This information might also appear in a drop-down menu. Okay, so this is
and
not
you
the
can't change it.
Right.
No, so they're
all you can do is deactivate it.
So they're watching.
They've already made the designation based on what you click on and what you view on Facebook as a platform. Like if you go on Google and do it, I'm sure they're doing the same thing. We just don't know how to do it yet. Okay. I mean, they're tracking all this stuff. So it's like they know who you are and they know what you're doing.
They know what you're thinking.
Right.
Or where you're leaning, at least. Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, because we were talking about it because, not to beat a dead horse, but I got all these friends on Facebook and I only see the same people over and over and over again. I mean, what are the other 300 people doing? Nothing.
Right.
Sitting around with a thumb up their ass. I'm sure they're posting pictures of dogs and puppies too.
Right. Well, what happens now, people aren't putting with it, not me, but other people are like, they're only posting something that is not offensive or is non-controversial or something like that. I still put shit up there that, people are like, I know when I've hit a nerve when nobody mentions it, likes it, comments on it.
Well, that's the problem is because, I guess because no one, I win. That you wrote something like that. It says, no, because nobody wants to get their balls broken because if you comment.
that was about Trump tweet.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Because in the old, like say 3 or 4 years ago before Facebook went public and they had to monetize all this shit, the only people that would see that would be me and you. But now, if I click on that, let's say I click like on it or I engage you in a debate on it. Now you're inviting the wrath of people you don't even know because a message goes out there that says, "Oh, Deuce commented on John's feed," and they don't know who I am. Then they're going to come in here. I was just saying, who needs that fucking aggravation?
How about that? Yeah, like if I look at my posts, like I did the 3 top voices from ladies you see, and there's like 7 or 8 ladies, and then I said, this is what happens when you wake up and see the president tweeted while he was on the toilet, and it's the thing of the gopher screaming, the video of the gopher. That, so I put that on there. Yeah, I think the guy's crazy. He gets in there and he's sitting on the toilet and he's watching Fox News and he gets a hair up his ass and all of a sudden he tweets something and it has global implications. Listen, if I say
does
that,
it really?
Yeah, it does.
Does it really?
You don't think it does?
No, I've seen this movie before.
Stop. Really? What president tweets?
Well, there was no Twitter. I says, but they were all like everything that Reagan did. They were like, "Oh, he's horrible." But then he brings down the Iron Curtain, and suddenly it was a bipartisan
it's
effort.
Different. He went through. He had people that were writing shit for him, and there was his ideas and everything. But it wasn't like he just didn't go off half cock while he's on the shitter. Okay, this guy's got a fucking phone, and he's tweeting it at fucking Russia.
Why do you care?
Why do I care?
So
because they got enough fucking nuclear bombs to fucking do us all in. That's why I care.
And Ronald Reagan, back in the day, he signed legislation to ban communism. The bombers launch in 5 minutes.
I didn't know about it.
What, were you in a coma?
No, I didn't know about it. What I'm saying is, when that happens...
You just have selective memory.
Whatever.
You do.
But what I'm saying... Okay, fine. But what I'm saying is that you see this shit... And you see what he's doing, and you're like, what the fuck? Will someone please disable his Twitter? Someone take his fucking phone.
I don't know. I think it's kind of working.
Working? Until it doesn't.
Yeah, that's what they said about Reagan, too. And it did. It worked.
This guy's no Reagan.
Not saying that he is. I'm just saying that everything that they're saying about Donald Trump, they said about Reagan.
I'm telling you something right now.
I've seen this movie before. We won.
Wait. Taking and trying to compare... Donald Trump to Ronald Reagan.
I'm not comparing the person to
just
person.
Because it worked with
the method to the method.
Donald. Just because it worked with Ronald Reagan does not mean it's going to work with Donald Trump. Trust me. Yeah. I'm telling you what. I'm praying that we can get through these 3 years to get him out of office. Praying.
I'm looking forward to the next 7.
There's no way.
Awesome sauce.
Good God. I hope not.
See, you know what it is? These other foreign powers, they're used to having, like, the United States have a do-nothing president just roll over.
Yep.
See, what they're used to is, like in the case of Iran, they're used to, like, just when they're about to be strangled into the abyss due to the sanctions, to have the feckless wonder lift the sanctions and then airlift $1 billion of cash. In an
unmarked airplane.
Yeah, in an unmarked U.S. Jet. Right. To land in Iran and give them the money.
Pallets full of cash.
That's what they're used to. And they're also used to, like, when you're invading the Crimea, just to have a feckless wonder just kind of like turn a blind eye to an invasion of an independent country. And they're also kind of used to, like, having, just someone like say that they're going to draw a red line in the sand and then really not do anything about it.
Well, listen, this whole thing with this last chemical attack in Syria, they're saying that the fucking British did it.
Yeah. Who's saying that?
I just saw, like who's I said, I just saw it on the news.
Okay, and who's saying that?
Well, I'm just saying it makes no fucking sense for this guy from Syria.
It makes no sense for the British to do that.
It makes more sense for the British to do it, to keep us in there.
No.
Than it does for them to do it because we were already leaving.
Putin is a former KGB agent. If that's coming out of anywhere, that's coming out of Russia.
Well, I don't know.
That's where that's coming out.
Even your buddy, Tucker Carlson's like, we don't know. We have no idea where this is coming from. Why does it make any sense? Your buddy.
At the time that he probably said that, they probably don't know.
Well, it was just the other day.
And are they going to give all this information to anybody in the media?
No. Nope.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just saying you can't go off half-cocked on the toilet with Twitter.
Yeah, but you can actually show some strength as opposed to the last guy for 8 years that did
what?
dick.
They got like think tanks.
The guy you voted for.
The guy
he bent over and grabbed his ankles.
Twice. I didn't vote for him twice.
Well, you voted for him the first time. That was enough to cause the damage. I voted for him the
first time because of McCain with the crazy broad.
Yeah, she was so crazy.
She's crazy.
Because, see, your problem is you can't differentiate your dislike for someone over something insignificant over the larger big. You're not a big picture kitty.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
The fact that, listen.
No, you're not. Who was right about Facebook?
What's that?
Who was right about Facebook in the podcast?
What are you talking about?
Me.
What are you talking about with Facebook and for not going live?
Yeah.
No, you're not. The reason you're right is because of your actions. Wait a minute.
See, you said I was right.
Yep.
Well, because there's no. First of all, when you went on Facebook, you're such a pussy. You couldn't sit there like you were so afraid to say anything that the show was going downhill because you were afraid you were going to say something wrong on Facebook.
Live.
So yes, Facebook Live.
I don't do well in front of cameras, and I told you, and you didn't care.
Well, I figured that
because it's all about John.
I'm trying to build the audience here, so I'm thinking that people our ages are on Facebook, but they don't do anything about podcasts.
I don't think you give the audience enough credit. You're very condescending.
First of all, I had to put it on his fucking phone for him to get it.
So he's the benchmark for the entire world.
Basically, there's a bunch of people.
He's the benchmark.
Yes, because that is our target audience.
So you're deflecting once again, and you're making it to Jimmy's fault.
What I'm saying is, What I'm saying
you're deflecting.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Will you let me finish and stop saying this word? Yes, I am. It's not an argument. What happens is you have people that are in Jimmy's age group, my age group, your age group that don't really know the technology. We didn't grow up with the technology. They're very limited. A lot of them don't even – they have cell phones.
You go, David Hogg.
So what I'm saying is that but they've all been baptized to Facebook and they know how to use Facebook now. So what I was trying to do is get them to listen or watch the show and then say, hey, you know what? I'd like to try to listen to these guys. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't working because what would happen is they would say –
Deuce would clamp up.
Listen, they would watch us and they still wouldn't listen. So we weren't getting anything anyhow.
I told you that was going to happen.
But then again, so I'm thinking to myself, what's the metric? Did they enjoy the show? Whether they'd enjoy it on Facebook or whether they'd enjoy it downloading it as a podcast. We were getting as many views. We were getting more views on Facebook and watches on Facebook than we were getting downloads. So if you take the two,
but you can't measure how the length of term of the view, much like you can't read.
Or same thing with a download. They can download it and not listen to it. How many shows do you download that you never listen to because you never get a chance to listen to them?
Well, I go back, but unless, like recently with my brother and all that situation, I got backed up, but I'm almost caught up now.
Right, but what I'm saying is most people have, like I have mine set that it only downloads once. So if I didn't get to it and another show comes, it downloads over, it takes the one off and puts the newest one on. So yes, they got a download, but did they get a listen? No. And that's the big fight right now in podcasting because the advertisers are like, well, okay, they downloaded, but how do we know they listened? And I'm like, well, how do you know they listen in radio? Well, they send people out and they clipboards and they send out like a
Arbitron.
Right.
That was the Arbitron radio.
Well, now they even do it. They have like what is it called when you take a company goes out, a survey company. A survey company goes out and that's how they get the ratings. Well, I mean, they're going to have to do the same thing. But now what happens is now the professional casters and stuff like that, they want to start streaming podcasting instead of downloads. Mm-hmm. Because they can somehow, if it's streaming, they can tell when you turned it on.
They know when they're streaming.
Right, how many are on?
Right. So, but the thing about it is that right now, streaming, a lot of people can't stream due to, how much
data
data they have. Some people don't have unlimited plans. And then the other thing is, too, you can be in areas where you can't stream, You just can't stream. The internet's not good enough or whatever. You can't stream. So I'm firmly against that. I'm a download guy. I want downloads. But see, the thing is that these other people that come in with this money, and they're like, now we're going to change it. Change it? What the fuck are you changing it for? It's not even broken. Wow, did we go around the horn on that one?
Yep.
But I still think that this is a growing medium. And whether they're listening to us as a podcast or watching us on Facebook or doing both, we're still kind of getting the message out there or the show out there. And are they enjoying it or not? I don't know. But we're trying.
But originally you said that Deuce tightened up.
That was tighten up.
I told you I would. I don't do well in front of cameras.
Right. But
because you can't edit it, it's
right
out there. Boom.
It's out there. Yeah. Like now, he could say to me, "I take that out." Or what I could do when it was on Facebook is that once it was over, I could go and immediately delete it. So then it wasn't,
can't be viewed again.
It can't be viewed again. It can be viewed once, but it can't be viewed again.
Right.
I could do that, but you don't like being. As soon as the camera comes on, you pucker up.
I don't like it.
I hear you.
I told you.
So that's why we stopped it.
Is
What
the
Clinton?
definition? Yeah, it just came up again with Zuckerberg. Wasn't it part of that discussion?
I didn't
you
didn't
get to
see any of the interview except
Yeah.
what I saw with Ted
I'm
Cruz.
pretty sure you need to see it. And they brought that up again. I'm like, wait a minute. Here we go with that. Is.
Deja vu all over again.
Yeah, the definition of is.
No, I didn't say
Oh,
that.
okay.
The definition of is
Yeah, don't you remember the whole
That
Clinton?
came up with the Clinton
Clintons.
right.
scandal
Is,
with
yes.
Monica Lewinsky.
What is sex?
No, what it is.
It depends on what your definition of is.
Oh, well, here's my. I'm sorry, President. Let me clarify. Did you have your dick in her mouth, pussy, ass? Did you happen to fondle any body parts? Did you lose any seed on her body anywhere?
No, on her dress. It never touched the skin.
On her person. On her
But
person.
either I'm having deja vu or when I was listening to Zuckerberg, it came up.
That's another thing that cracks me up is these Democrats are like having a shit fit because Trump had sex with a porn star and apparently he was in Russia at one time and there was some Russian hookers peeing on each other and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, this is horrible. Meanwhile, Clinton's banging Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office, sticking a cigar up her hoo-ha. And that's okay.
Here's the whole quote that Jimmy's talking about. This is from the Star Report, and when Clinton was before the grand jury.
But that's the old one.
And it says, it depends on what the meaning of the word is. If is means is and never has been, that is not. That is one thing. If it means there is none, that was a completely true statement. Now, if someone had asked me on that day, are you having any kind of sexual relations with Miss Lewinsky? That is, asked me a question in the present tense. I would have said no, and it would have been. So it was just this rambling obfuscation, lawyer doublespeak. That was what.
I say if I can do my Clinton. I did not have sex with that woman. No.
You used to do it better.
I did have a good Clinton.
Yeah.
I'm losing. I got an OJ, but I don't have a Clinton.
You abandoned your Clinton in favor of your OJ.
Yeah, my OJ's better than my Clinton.
Well, that's the thing. Is because the difference that people are.
I got it. Yeah, that's Hillary. Yeah. See now, you got to tell me what is like. Is what was she is her head under my desk? Is her lips around my cock? I don't know. But like is now? No, I can see now she is not sucking my cock. Now when I get home, Hillary's gonna kick me in the nuts again. So I can't answer any more questions. All right. I'm going to be going now. Now, is the word that we need to talk about. Is, was, and should.
Lips around what?
Should I bang an intern on the desk in the Oval Office? Of course not. Well, did I? Well, is that the question? I think I'm going to call the fifth. Get a fifth. Play with a fifth. I got to go. All right. I'll check that. That's my cue to skidoo.
That's
all
my
right.
cock.
There's my cock again. My cock-a-doodle-doo. Thank you. I rained down on Monica like that. All right. Jesus Christ, I talked so long my screen shut off.
Rain on that ass.
I rained down on that ass.
Rain on that ass.
That's right. I rained
How
on that ass.
How creepy is it that she kept that blue dress?
Well, you know.
There seems to be a stiff spot here.
I'll never wash this dress again. Right here is where the president of the United... I pulled my head away and he spunked right over... Right... Look, there's presidential sperm right there.
I don't think she was from down south, but...
Listen.
On this podcast, she was.
You try to do all these invitations. You try to do all these invitations.
You try to write invitations.
Yeah, you try to do all this on the fly. I don't hear you doing no imitations over there.
Yeah, Deuce knows his limits.
He's got his Clinton down good.
I do Genghis, and that's it.
You wake up next to that fucking pantsuit, knock-knees, bow-legged woman. You got to get a piece of strange every once in a while.
What are cankles?
A big giant cankles in a pantsuit. My God. Orange is the new black. I can't wait for them to arrest her.
I don't know, one of the most disturbing pictures that came out of that was they went on a trip and they were like in Hawaii or something, and they were like dancing in bathing suits in the middle of the rainforest. You remember that picture?
Come here, Bill.
Or just
Dance
like-
with me so it looks like we're actually into each other.
No, it was like so. I mean,
Hillary, come here. Let me try to get my big arm around that fat back of yours. Oh my God.
let me see if I can find it.
All right, John. We're going to close out on that.
Oh, look.
Look
I'm
at Jimmy calling the shots.
Jimmy uncomfortable. Look, I'll tell you what, when I make a fucking cooter hound like Jimmy uncomfortable, you know something's going on.
Cooter hound.
I'll tell you what, that Jimmy, I've heard about that Jimmy. His face has seen more ass than a horse's saddle. I'll tell you that right now.
He's my hero.
Yeah, I try to live up to the Jimmy. The Jimmy was my hero. I heard about the Jimmy in the late 70s.
We'd have probably been friends.
Oh, we would have tore up some ass in the 70s, Jimmy and I. But I ended up marrying that Hillary Rodham Clinton. Rodham, whatever her name is. That rotten bitch.
You got to be kidding me. I can't, how can you get any more explicit than that description?
What?
Dancing in Hawaii.
Yeah, dancing.
Oh, you can't find it. That's right, because you know what? We Clintons, we wiped the
We
internet
scrubbed
clean.
it clean. I murdered
Like with a rag?
We murdered that guy.
I'll tell you what, anybody that tries to do anything about the Clintons, they automatically commit suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head 3 or 4 times.
One individual accidentally brutally cut his head off while shaving.
Yeah, twice. All right, let's get out of here. Podcast shout-outs.
Oh, boy.
Okay, let me close out of this. If you are looking for some other great independent podcasts to check out, we highly recommend these podcasts. The Evening Radio Podcast with Jason and Mindy, part of the Hush Your Face Network, and The Difference Between Us with the aforementioned Jason and Mindy and Stephanie and David.
I shake my head with Lisa and Sam. Happy 1-year anniversary. And hope you enjoy those Brand X coffee mugs.
The Unwritable Rant by Juliet Miranda. Many thanks to from Juliet and David, the producer, who sent me a flask. And,
What?
And
I sent you a flask.
And I did it old school and sent a thank you card in the mail.
What?
Look at you, Deuce.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that
Emily Post.
David Miranda messaged me last night. He's going to send me a flask, too. So I'm getting one. How about that? I didn't even know you got one.
Yeah. I got mine on Monday.
Now I have to handwrite a thank you letter just because of you. I got to stay one step ahead of you.
You can't.
I know.
You won't.
All right.
You
Married as Fuck with Randall and Brooke. They, it's so funny. They like ask you questions. Like one of their things is they like to answer questions from the audience. So he's like, hey, I would like to hear some questions from these podcasters. So I asked him a question. Hey, what was the biggest fight you ever had? What was it about? And how did you get over it?
Did a fight break out?
Well, no. He's like, that's 3 questions. I'm like, you said questions. So I don't know if they're answered. They're actually recording tonight, so we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. So, but I do like that show.
The Robin Slim Show with Robin Slim and Sleepy Lucas, part of the Hush Your Face podcast.
Who's Right with Doug and Anthony? We haven't talked to them about doing the crossover where you podcast with Doug and I
you
podcast.
probably pissed Doug off when you called him a diva last show.
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. The Pet and Mellor Show. Oops, that's you, dude.
Yeah, well, you're just going to go charge right in there. Pet and Mellor Show with Matt Mellor and Viva La Pedros is no more. They are rebranding, and the new name of the show is The Generation Offended.
The Story Behind with Emily Prokop, and Emily starting a new podcast. And the new podcast is called Hate to Wait, WEIGHT. Mm-hmm. And she has a co-host, and the two of them are going on a weight loss journey, exercise and stuff like that, kind of keeping each other accountable. Mm-hmm. And the podcast will be coming out soon. And you know who her co-host is?
You?
Me. So that podcast should be out in about a week or 2. So that should be fun.
Our cheesesteaks on that?
No cheese. No, actually, no.
And what did we have before we started the podcast?
We had a chicken Parmesan sandwich. So it starts next week. So
okay. So
we'll be on.
So in other words, let me gorge now.
That's right. That's right.
Thanks for the cheesesteak, by the way.
Carving up right now so we can. Yes. You know what else is on that diet? Jack Daniels and Coke is not on that diet.
Yeah, lots of sugar.
Lots of sugar.
Yeah, especially with the Coke.
Right. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Hardly Awkward, Sean Fuller, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
I don't even know why I can't shout this guy out anymore. Toe on the trigger. I haven't heard from him in forever. Daniel, Mike, and Courtney 3000. I don't even know if he owns a microphone anymore.
Well, he's very much alive on the Facebook and the Twitter.
Yeah, he's constantly getting thrown off of Facebook. He's back. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's back. He's gone.
He's had more comebacks than Muhammad Ali.
That's right.
Everyone has a podcast with Adam and Brian.
The Bold and Belligerent Podcast with Lauren, Josh, Luke, and Adam.
The Hunan Show with Rocky, BB, Drew, and Josh.
And Rocky's starting another show.
Yes, he is. That's right.
I can't think of the name of it. That would have been helpful.
Yeah.
What is the name of the show?
You dropped the ball.
Next week.
Okay. And the Jeff Hurt Show with Jeff and Gary. So that's it. That's our shout-outs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you enjoyed this show, please do us a favor. Tell a few friends. Word of mouth is everything. You know, I shared a show out the other day. It was two girls from Canada, two young girls, 20-something girls. And the next thing you know, Jason's listening to them. The girls from I Shake My Head are listening to them. It's the best way to help out a podcast. So if you like this podcast, do us a favor. Tell a couple of your friends. Even share this episode out on your social media accounts. It's easy to do. We are on the social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/BrandXPodcast. We're on the Twitter at BrandXPodcast. And we're even on Instagram at BrandXPodcast. Just like and follow us and share us with your friends. We would really appreciate it. And if you would like to join in the conversation, but you won't, you can email us at brandxpod@gmail.com, or you can call into the Times Yours voicemail line at 856-322-2473 and leave a message. But you won't. And we'll feature you on the next Times Yours segment. Thank you very much for listening to the Brand X Podcast, and come on back next week. Will you shut the fuck up so I can end the recording?
That's it. We're just getting into it.